Was interesting, isn't it, with royal connections, as we've mentioned before. I don't know about you, I think it must be an absolute honour to receive an award, whether it be a CBE, MBE, damehood, sir, all of that sort of thing. It just proves that people have noticed your hard work, dedication, all of that sort of thing. So I never really understand why people decide, well, at the 11th hour, to speak out like so many celebrities have done over the years and basically say, I don't want it, you can have it back. As I've said before, they quickly, want to get in front of the late monarch, or indeed our brand new king, to make sure they get that picture, which they can trade off for years, and then claim, oh, I feel really bad about taking the award. Didn't feel too bad because it takes a few months before you actually get presented with said award. So, of course, you've all that time to change your mind. And when you think about all the organisation skills, the people giving up their time, and then, of course, the presentation ceremony itself, it's rather crass, isn't it, after the event? Did you know, though, on this day, way back in 1965, the Beatles picked up their award from Her Majesty the Queen? They popped over to Buckingham Palace, and of course, they were at the very height of their fame. They received the award simply because they were great for exports. Brian Epstein, their manager, was on hand, as he often was throughout all these huge events. And of course, everybody was incredibly excited. You see, finally, a rock and roll band who had only started out literally in the public eye a few years previously were now legit. They were loved by every single age group. Great, as I say, for exports, wonderful for great ambassadors for the United Kingdom. They'd outsold simply everybody of their generation. And let's not forget that mega concert at Shea Stadium over in the United States, which became a record breaker. They appeared alongside people like Jane Mansfield and on the Ed Sullivan Show over in the United States as well, which accelerated mega sales. So you can understand why the award came through. And then, of course, the leader, some might say, John Lennon, some others might say Paul McCartney. I often thought that George Harrison was incredibly underrated and a superb musician. And let's not forget Ringo, who really did try his best. Well, they decided, didn't they, John Lennon, to give their award back. They didn't feel comfortable with it. So you see, everything comes a full circle. At the time, that was seen as absolute outrage. How dare he insult Her Majesty the Queen? Of course, John had his reasons, and there were his reasons. He went on, of course, to really do incredibly well, not just as part of the Beatles, but as a solo artist also. But isn't it strange when you look back on the days in history at what really went on? According to a very good source, and as I told you before, I've met Sir Paul McCartney many times and saw him only last week through a car window, if you saw that video. Well, again, it is a moment in time. And as Sir Paul told me, they couldn't quite believe it because a few years prior to that, it was something they could have only dreamed of. I've often wondered whether John Lennon did regret being so hasty in his youth to hand it back. But as ever, I'd love to know what you think. Do you agree once they accept the award, should they keep it? Or should they be so vocal and be so negative about the British monarchy in the public eye? Do you think many of them deserve the awards or don't? Personally, I've always thought it's the underdog that does really well. And for me, I don't think it's about the celebrities. It's about the wonderful people that do, things that are not necessarily recognized on the world stage, beavering away for years, looking after people, creating vaccines, whatever it may be. But the bottom line is, those to me are the true deservers of those awards. If you're a celebrity, you're already quite well overpaid. Do let me know what you think to this particular story in the comments below. Neil Sean in the very heart of London.